My brother got a $70,000 bonus. I got a coffee mug that said team player. Then my CEO father looked me dead in the eye and said, "Be grateful. You're replaceable." 3 hours later, the company's entire network collapsed, and suddenly the replaceable son became the most expensive man in the building. I worked at my father's cybersecurity company for 7 years. Not because I loved the place, because I kept believing if I worked hard enough, he'd finally treat me like a son instead of free labor. My younger brother Ethan, he had the title, the office with glass walls, the six-figure bonuses. Meanwhile, I was the one sleeping under my desk during outages and rebuilding servers at 2 a.m. At the annual executive dinner, Dad stood up with a champagne glass and started announcing bonuses. "Ethan," he grinned, "for your incredible leadership, $70,000. Applause exploded across the room. Then he looked at me and tossed over a tiny gift bag. Inside was a cheap mug. Team player. People actually laughed. I stared at it. "Is this a joke?" Dad smirked. "Your support staff, Mason. Let's not confuse maintenance with leadership. I built your infrastructure. And Ethan brings vision," he snapped. "Anyone can do your job." That sentence changed something in me. I slowly placed the mug on the table. "Okay," I said calmly. "Then you shouldn't need me anymore." Dad rolled his eyes. "Don't start drama." I unclipped my security badge and set it beside the mug. "I quit." The room went silent. Ethan laughed nervously. "You're seriously quitting over a bonus?" "No," I said. "I'm quitting over respect." Then I walked out. At exactly 1:12 a.m., my phone exploded. 23 missed calls. The company's client servers had crashed during a major software migration. See, there was one thing nobody knew. I had written a custom emergency failover system years earlier after a ransomware scare. Dad refused to pay for a proper replacement, so I built a private workaround myself. And I was the only person who knew how to restart it. By 3 a.m., Dad finally reached me. His voice sounded broken. "Mason, we're bleeding millions. Hospitals can't access records. The board is threatening lawsuits." I sat quietly in my hotel suite overlooking downtown. "What happened to anyone can do my job?" I asked. Silence. Then he swallowed his pride. "What do you want?" I looked out the window at the city lights. 40% ownership. "What?" "And Ethan resigns effective immediately. You're blackmailing me." "No," I replied calmly. "I'm charging market value." He cursed at me for 30 straight seconds. Then the line went dead. An hour later, the signed agreement hit my inbox. I opened my laptop, typed 6 commands. The servers came back online in under 2 minutes. The next morning, I walked into headquarters wearing a tailored black suit instead of my old hoodie. Every executive stood when I entered. Dad looked hollow. Ethan looked furious. I took my seat at the head of the conference table and smiled slightly. "Good morning," I said. Dad clenched his jaw. "You made your point." I shook my head. "No, Dad." I slid the termination papers toward Ethan. "Now I'm making structural improvements." Then I leaned back in my chair. "After all, anyone can do his job too."